Alrighty, fellas. Boy, do I have the early scoop on these new deck lists. We just had the online regional happen over the weekend for Oceania, and as always, I'm here, Dane, to cover the top 8 breakdown of all the decks. As always, I'm going to be breaking down and talking about every single deck moderately quickly in the top 8. And, at the end of the video, I'll probably just talk a little bit about my own experiences playing in the regional as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All freaking righty. I'm just going to say it out the woodworks. This meta continues onwards. Not much has changed, if I'm being honest. So with that comes the caveat that I'm not going to go super in-depth about every single one of these deck lists, but I will, as always, congratulate the players who played at the tournaments. First up, we have Eugene with first place Royal Knights. Now, I will say that there are a couple of standout cards in this deck list, but we're looking at Royal Knights. It is 4 Omni X's. This card is incredibly strong. One of the standout cards is the Gallantmon X. I assume being able to play out something like the promo Gallantmon off of your Purge, and then immediately digivolving over this for free, is pretty darn good to be able to instantly trash one of your opponent's security and also be able to DP reduce and hopefully pop something. I think that's a pretty good tech-in card for the overall meta. And secondly, these cards down here. There is the Pawn device and the Queen device. I was running the Queen device and I really did like it, but I do also really like the addition of this Pawn device. At first, I didn't realize why people were running this, but after rereading it yet again for another one, essentially being able to, use your Queen device, have it sit in the kind of tamer area, and then using the effect of the delay in with the Pawn device is pretty good to be able to just, trash this, trigger its effect again, and also gain a memory, as well as being able to draw one for just 2 cost is pretty nice. The double fire rocket, I think we are starting to see a little bit more of in the Omnimon and Royal Knights builds, where they're using a lot of these, Omni X's, a lot of Jesmon GX's, and Crimson Mode Aces. You're essentially able to just pump out so much damage that you really don't have to sit on your hands, as it were, and wait until your Omnimon has 5 sources underneath it. You really do get to just be able to be like, I'm going to play out the Omni X and give it Fire Rocket 2 times, and then when it has 3 checks, you swing for 3, and then end of turn swing for another 3. This card is pretty nice in this deck, so I think it's a worthy tech just for pushing that damage. A lot of the time your opponent just does not see that coming, but yeah, this is Royal Knights. This is a incredibly strong deck, part of the top 3 for a reason. And congratulations, Eugene. We'll move on to the next deck list. Next up, we have Rusty with second place. Congratulations. I will have to say, you are going to see so much Megidramon from now on. Oh my god. This deck is insane, especially now with this iteration that people are at the point of just not using Megidramon. To quote, I'm pretty sure Rusty himself, as somebody else sent me the screenshot from a Discord, Megidramon is the worst card in Megidramon. The entire line of the level 4s and just the promo gallants are just awesome cards on their own. At the tournament, when in my first round, I versed Declan, who is the 7th place, and he essentially turned to OTK'd me in one of the games, and I just remember thinking to myself, man, I've got one more turn. I can definitely keep setting up. I don't have to worry too much. My opponent will be at least a turn is left, and then nope. The game was over that turn because this deck is absolutely primed now to trash and play out more Guilmons that give rush, and then Demonic Disaster if the card doesn't die. It's essentially like Calling from Darkness, but now at 4. Again, as you can see down here with the Demonic Disaster, this card says you may delete one of your Digimon to unsuspend one of your purple Digimon. You do not have to have a secondary body on the field to really give that card value. It is 1 cost, delete the Digimon, play out another Guilmon Rush, and then gain another memory with the level 4 Growlmon or even the level 3 Guilmon. So you just keep this endless rotation of swing, it doesn't die, demonic disaster, play out the rush one, swing with another Growlmon X. Oh, it died this time. Cool. We'll just keep moving forward. And you just keep doing that over and over and over again until your opponent is dead. And then there are 3 other cards here in the... Well, I say 3. There's a few others. You got Superior Mode for more checks. You have War Growls to play out more of the Guilmons. You have the Gallant Mons to play out and for free at a certain point and just keep swinging. And then you've got 4 Gravity Crush, 4 Memory Boost, 4 red memory boost. This is kind of the pinnacle of a homogenized deck in Digimon. Yeah, this is crazy. This deck is a little bit insane. Them's the breaks. Congratulations, Rusty, on your 2nd place win. Again, this is still a deck that you have to put in the work to learn the combos to play, but at a certain point, once you know how this deck works, you're just running lines that slightly variate. I think this is a really good deck, and like I said before, get ready to see a lot more Megidramon in your future. Until they ban Gravity Crush and probably Growl X or the Guilmon, I think that's coming soon if we get a ban list. If not, we're going to be seeing this for a while. Next up, we have StuartJ with their 3rd place Sakuyamon. Again, one of the top 3 decks. Sakuyamon, the Megidramon, and RK all making 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. This deck is very, very strong still. It is a more traditional version using the Rikas to, as well, so that you can use your plugins. I say traditional in the sense that, we started to see a lot more of the, I can't remember the name of the 5-cost option. Allows you to minus a lot of DP if you have 3 or more Digimon out, but that's a completely different variant compared to this. But we still see a lot of the same pieces in these decks. You've got your 2 of Renamon X, your Searcher pieces in the Renamons, as well as the QB that allows you to play out your Tamer for free, Starmon here to keep barrier on the stack. And then, the Sakuya lineup, this Talmon is incredibly strong, just being able to use an option card, with the cost reduced by 2. Just being able to use any option card, essentially, with the cost reduced by 2, meaning you can just use scrambles to get into your Sakuyamons, or even, the Digivolution plugins to also get into your Sakuyamons, because if you have an excess amount of these, you're going to use your scramble, and then you're probably going to go into Volta Arm or your Ruin mode close to free. This deck is a little bit standard, and I will say I wonder if it'll also cop a hit on the ban list in the future. But yeah, good jobs, StuartJ, with your 3rd place. Let's get on to the next one. Up next, we have Emmdubs on 4th, with Megidramon's engine slapped into the Phoenix X. I will say, this is probably the most creative versions of these kind of this homogenized red Guilmon, Growlmon X bottom end. There is a really cool build out there at the moment that's starting to get pretty popularized in you play out Oyumon off of your Phoenix X at the end of attack, and then after playing him out, you can DNA Digivolve into Oyukin, and that ends up being essentially like, swings for a check with the Phoenix X, trashes with the effect of the Garuda X, and then it plays out the Oyumon, and then when you DNA Digivolve, you're trashing another card, and then swinging and trashing another card, and also hitting for another security check. Which ends up being like 4 checks in one turn, as well as you're able to, play out the Guilmon off of the effect of your Phoenix X. This whole build I really like, and I'm going to be playing personally a little bit in the future because again, like I'm a big fan of birds. This is like one of the more interesting, more fun red decks. It is definitely a little bit different being able to just swing with your Phoenix X and then play out a Guilmon for free that has rush, and then maybe you do 2 checks, maybe you do 3. I'm definitely going to be playing the Oyukin version, but I do like this build. I think this is a much more streamlined version that says, hey, I'm trying to get into my Phoenix X as fast as possible. You got the 3 protoforms to support that. If you don't find your Phoenix X, you've got your Cool Boys to shore up your X Digivolutions and gain you more draws, more memory, and then, as well as the Gravity Crush, of course. And then if you do all of that, get your checks, your trashes off with your Phoenix X, you can use your Gallantmon to delete your own Phoenix X and trigger all those on deletion effects again on your own turn, which is really cool. I'm actually pretty excited to play this kind of deck at my locals. So this might be the next hyperfixation. Who can really say? Congratulations on getting 4th, Emmdubs. That is a fantastic run to the top. Next up, we have AncientGaruru. I'm going to be real with you, Chief. I don't know how you guys get to the top every single time. Whenever I look at these lists, I think to myself, holy moly, you must be the luckiest person alive, and you're wasting it on AncientGaruru. No, these deck lists are incredibly funny to me because this is a little bit more of a reasonable list than I've seen. Like, we saw a top 4, I think it was a Latin America list that ran 12 one-ofs, and I will say that having a quick look, I can still see so many one-ofs in this deck. Most of the cards that are one-ofs are just limited anyway, so you're just taking advantage of the fact that you're able to use, 4 different colors in white, red, blue, and yellow. So I totally get it. I understand. It's just incredibly funny to me that you are always running on an engine of having to play out both a tamer and also get your hybrids in the first place. You have a lot of search, a lot of draw in that. But like, damn, you'll get away with it all the time. This deck is hilarious to me because every time I verse somebody on this deck, they will just find it. They will always find both the Lobo and the Kendo as well as the AncientGaruru, and they are able to get to all of those pieces before the Megidra just one-shots them. So very funny. You do have a lot of searching tools. Again, I'll give you that. There is, the boosts, the Ukos, the swing draw 2. You've got your floodgates to stop your opponents from playing as much as you can whilst you're trying to get online. And then once you find your pieces, you have the ability to grab them back from the trash with Deity. But man, this is I'm only kidding around. This is still an interesting list. It just doesn't work for me when I play it. It falls apart every single time, and I just feel like, where's these Kendos? Where's these Lobos and AncientGaruru when I need it? Anyways, congratulations on your 5th place Dragon 1-up. We'll move on to the next one. Alrighty, we have SnippyTheLucky with something truly lucky. How did you get 6th place with Heroes? I haven't played this deck, don't get me wrong, but I have not seen anybody do very well with it at all. So I am just going to go off of the fact that I know most of these cards individually, but I do not know kind of the entire play pattern of this deck as a whole. Congratulations on obviously getting 6th with Hero. This is pretty cool. I will say that. What the fuck do these cards do? But from the outset, this always just looks like a pretty hyper aggro list to me. You have cards like Globemon, which is level 5, which has Sec Attack +1, a card that when it is linked, you may attack, a card that is able to tuck another underneath it with the hero trait to also help you in those endeavors. Superior Mode being a 3-cost over something with a hero trait definitely is awesome, not having to pay the full 4 to get into a card that, every time I look at Superior Mode, I'm like, damn, this card is incredibly strong. It just needs, a decent deck to be in, and obviously that comes in Hunters and Heroes, but we were taking it into a lot of other stuff like Red Hybrid and Dragonkin as well with Medusamon. This is just a really strong card to essentially get 2 checks out of nowhere, and you are really able to just sit on your level 5s with a card like Valkyremon, being able to, if your opponent tries to swing back, you -5, kind of a blanket ruin mode, and then if they hit security, they you just get to pop something, and then when it's back to your turn and that Valkyrie has lived through the turn, you're able to just say, well, here comes another 2 checks, baby. Not to mention the extra damage that Gaiamon puts out. This card is so good at just being able to, trash a card, swing over stuff, and you can attach your Globemon in this deck. You can attach your Dogach. This is just a really cool card, and all these tamers also really help you out to be able to Digivolve for a reduced cost, for example, or extra draw and gain memory, as well as gaining a memory at the start of your turn if your opponent has a Digimon out on field. Yeah, so all in all, I think this is an interesting list. Again, I'm obviously just joking around saying that you're hella lucky to have gotten to where you are, but I've not seen anybody play this deck at all, so it's cool to see that somebody has labbed it out and then made it to top 8 with it. Congratulations. And then next up, we have Declan on 7th. I'm going to be deadly honest with you. I have looked at this and the second place build at least 3 times. Congratulations on getting 7th, and not to detract from you whatsoever. This is the exact same list as the second place from Rusty, and I kind of assume both of you just, played the same deck list, realized how strong this deck is, and yeah, just ran it to the top. So good on both of you. I'm not going to go really at all anymore into this deck, but because now you're the second Megidramon in a row. But yeah, congratulations on coming 7th, Declan. I know you beat me in the first round, so props to you for taking it to the top. Again, I did not get a third turn in one of the games. I think it was the game 3, but I definitely did get to play at least a little bit in the games 1 and 2, and that was enjoyable because I wanted to play Melga to kind of counteract this deck. But even as much as Melga is a fantastic deck against Megidramon, this is just a much faster iteration, and not seeing your pieces for half a turn is just not good enough. So congratulations. And then lastly, Megidramon again. It's a little bit more of a traditional Megidramon at this point, using the War Growls and the Megidramon himself. Things like the Digimon I designed in this deck, scrambles, as well as a little bit smaller amount of boosts and trainings, but still a lot nonetheless. This is more akin to the deck that I took to the in-person regionals. So I know this one extremely well. And yeah, and again, just an incredibly solid list in Megidramon. The bottom end really, really is able to carry it. But like I said, I feel like we're going to see a lot more in the demonic disaster kind of bottom to middle range, playing deck. Because yeah, again, to quote, Megidramon is Megidramon's worst card in the deck. It is a card that has to, you have to build up to it as well as swing on your War Growl to Digivolve into it, and then sure, you get 2 checks and delete everything, as well as being able to play out more bodies and do more damage in the trash your opponent's top security card. But again, the bottom end just does the work. The bottom end really, really just, if you can just keep cycling these over and over again until your opponent dies, this deck is crazy mode. Talked about it a fair bit. I'm not going to lurch any further on Megidramon, but yeah, congratulations on 8th place, Aidan, Edan, awesome job. That was the top 8 decks that were played at the online regional just this weekend that went by. And here I'm just going to talk a little bit about my own experiences. For those who were interested to see how I went on Melga, I was talking a lot about playing Melga. I'm going to shift over here because hopefully I'm going to put a deck list up on the screen for you just to show you the deck list that I played. Pay no mind to the Vmon. I could not find my 4th super rare Gabumon in time for the tournament. It was kind of a last minute pick because I came 19th at the in-person regional, so I was just happy to play a deck that I was hyper obsessed with at the time. I am continuing to be hyper obsessed with Melga. It's a lot of fun to play, and it's going to get a pretty significant upgrade in the next set with EX9's Sagittarius mode, as well as the Gabu and the Garu, but it will shift how the deck actually plays to a more MagnaGaru playstyle, which is a lot more aggressive than the current control style of the deck, which is you're essentially just trying to build a stack, stun your opponent, and then when they kill the stack, scramble out a Gabumon, warp Digivolve into your secret BT15 MetalGaru, and then just smash them a couple times after stunning them again and again. Because the moment that they allow you to actually swing, you'll be able to do 5 checks pretty easily. And just being able to keep your opponent from playing for as long as possible is enough. I will say I only went kind of average. We played for 7 rounds and I went 3, 3, and 1. And honestly, one of those games I should have won. I made a huge mistake that will haunt me for the rest of my life. I Digivolved over my Gabu X, resolved Gabu X, and with 2 cool boys sitting on field, I did not trigger. I went to my level 4, and then I stared at those cool boys and went, that's all good. when I get to my promo WereGaru, I'll swing, unsuspend, and then Digivolve into the X Digivolution, and then I'll trigger those 2 Garbus. Got to the promo WereGaru, swung, first check is the old X antibody. So at 0 memory, I passed my turn to my opponent, and they just swung for game because I had no security left, and we were at 0 on the timer, so we went to a draw because of that. Again, I should have probably won that match, but that's just on me for not, hyper playing the deck a lot more before a proper regionals. Again, it was a chill one. I just wanted to have fun. I really enjoyed the deck. The only thing that if you want to play this deck that I will say a huge caveat is that if you ever play against Royal Knights, just scoop it up in the first minute. The moment they get Omeka underneath the sources of their Drasil, the game is over, because you will never have more than, your one mainline stack swinging and unsuspending as many times as it does. And then when you hit the last security, they'll, hop out the whip with Omeka, and then Omeka's going to go Omni-X and ruin your day. Even if you have more than one body on the field, it's not going to save you. They will all die. Everything will be wiped from the field, and you will not have enough time to catch up to play something out again. Save your time. Scoop it up. As far as I'm concerned, currently, it is an unwinnable matchup, and I'm not going to play it. Every other deck seems very, very winnable into, though. I just versed 2 Royal Knights players. The only other one I versed and probably should have won was Declan's 7th place Megidra, but again, I thought that I had an extra turn to play the game, and he just walked out, went crazy mode, sexual style on me, and I just died before I even had a chance to really set up. So that was pretty unfortunate, because this deck does a very, very good job of dealing with normal traditional Megidra, because you're able to stun the board if they're sitting on board, and if they ain't, you're just going to go MetalGaru X, which will ice wall them 4 every single time that they swing, and then you kind of just rotate between those stuns, and then stop them from swinging with ice wall, stun, and then you just kill them. That's what the deck does. It's pretty cool. Other than that, my other games were a lot of fun. Sometimes you do just get to hit the promo WereGaru combo like old school times and just go bang, 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 bang. 3-3-1 left me at, I think, 36th, not even quite top 32, so take that with a grain of salt. I was not 100% perfectly practiced on the deck, let alone is the deck the best. It's fun and also kind of mid, but it works kind of well into a lot of the meta picks. That's pretty much my sum up. I really enjoyed the games that I played against people, even the games that I was against Royal Knights and I had no way out. I still enjoyed almost taking one of them to time, or even just like a 1-in-1 game, because I managed to stomp one out. I think that alone, those games, although kind of hell, a lot of fun. A lot of fun, I will say that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next breakdown, and peace.